Ceremony. The ceremony will begin in just a few moments. Please take your seats and turn off or silence all electronic devices. Thank you. Today's event is considered an outdoor ceremony. Military members will wear their covers and render salutes during the playing of ruffles and flourishes, General's March, and the National Anthem. All family members and civilian friends are invited to stand and place their right hand over their heart during the National Anthem. On behalf of our host, the Commander, 18th Air Force, Major General Sam C. Barrett, welcome to today's Change of Command ceremony, in which the reins of responsibility and leadership will pass from Colonel Jeffrey T. Manasco to Colonel James G. Young. Bearing the wing flag is the 317th Airlift Wing Command Chief, Chief Master Sergeant Mark A. Umfleet. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remain standing for the arrival of the official party, the playing of musical honors, the playing of the national anthem, and for the invocation by Chaplain Major John Rollison.
Please join me as we go to the Lord in prayer. Almighty God, we thank you for this day, for the privilege to be here, Lord, in this transfer of responsibilities. And we thank you, Lord, for the work and the leadership of Colonel Jeff Manasco. In the 5th Psalm, we read, "O Lord, lead me in your righteousness, make your way straight before me." And we thank you, Lord, for the direction that you gave to Colonel Manasco. And we thank you for a commander who truly cares about people. From starting the 412 infrastructure to creating the human performance cell within the wing, he daily showed his commitment to the care for the airmen of the 317th Tactical Airlift Wing. Colonel Manasco has remained faithful in his responsibilities, and we are truly grateful for his leadership. And as he transitions to the Air Mobility Command staff and as the family transitions to Illinois, we ask for your blessings on Jeff, Jessica, Jack, Sienna, and Julia. When they remember Dyess Air Force Base and their time here, please impress upon them all the memories of good times, good friends, and memories of a job well done. Lord, we welcome our new command team, Colonel Greg Young, and we also welcome Glenda, Tyler, and Carter. We're blessed to have another leadership team who also care about people and who are ready to lead the world's greatest tactical airlift wing. Lord, we pray the same prayer from Psalm 5 for Colonel Young, and we ask you to give him wisdom, strength, and insight, and grace for his family during the exciting times ahead as he continues to serve our country as a faithful servant leader. Lord, we ask for your continued blessings and protection on all serving in harm's way, and for you to help us all renew our dedication to give Colonel Young the support that he needs. We ask these things in your holy name. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Thank you, Chaplain Rollison. As you will notice, today's ceremony will be uniquely executed as it is vital we continue to fight the COVID-19 virus by maintaining social distancing. This situation has and will continue to present us with challenges we will overcome. From ancient times, armies throughout the world have conducted ceremonies to commemorate victory over the enemy, to honor comrades in arms, and to celebrate special occasions such as the changing of command. Today, the primary purpose of the change of command is to allow units to witness the formal transfer of the reins of responsibility, authority, and accountability from one officer to another. These ceremonies have added color and pageantry to military life while preserving tradition and stimulating esprit de corps. With an air expeditionary combat-ready force of over 1,200 personnel, the 317th Airlift Wing's mission is to generate and employ tactical airlift globally. The wing conducts robust training at home, fulfills higher headquarters taskings, and executes real-world operations in NORTHCOM, SOUTHCOM, EUCOM, AFRICOM, and CENTCOM simultaneously. The 317th Airlift Wing truly is the world's best squadrons, empowering airmen to execute as the leading edge of tactical airlift. We gain by hazard. At this time, it is my distinct pleasure to recognize the official party. The presiding officer, the 18th Air Force Commander, Major General Sam C. Barrett. The outgoing commander, Colonel Jeffrey T. Manasco, accompanied by his wife Jessica and their children Jack, Sienna, and Julia. The incoming commander, Colonel James G. Young, accompanied by his wife Glenda and their children Tyler and Carter. The wing flag bearer, the 317th Airlift Wing Command Chief, Chief Master Sergeant Mark A. Umfleet, accompanied by his wife, Julie. Additionally, we are honored to welcome a number of special guests attending today's ceremony. Please hold your applause until all names have been announced. Colonel Young's mom, Mrs. Kay Cameron, and his stepdad, Mr. Chris Cameron. The 317th Airlift Wing Honorary Commander, Mr. Sean Martin. The 317th Airlift Wing Honorary Command Chief, Mr. David Pittman. The 7th Bomb Wing Commander, Colonel Ed Sumengale, and his wife, Jen. The 7th Bomb Wing Vice Commander, Colonel Matt Newell. The 7th Bomb Wing Command Chief, Chief Master Sergeant Eric Duggar. We would also like to welcome all of the families, friends, commanders, honorary commanders, chiefs, first sergeants, and Team Dyess warriors attending and watching today's virtual ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commander, 18th Air Force, Major General Sam Barrett.
Well, good morning, Abilene. How we doing? Oh, come on now. Crack those masks and give me a good morning here. Isn't it a beautiful day? Good morning. It's a beautiful day. It's great to be back here. This place is special to me, and it's wonderful to celebrate this great wing and the two fine leaders and Patriots on stage with me today. First off, ladies and gentlemen, this ceremony took a lot of creativity. It took a lot of work and effort, so please join me in a round of applause for everybody that worked so hard to make it just perfect. You know, it is wonderful to come together in venues like this in these certainly unique times. I think we could say this is COVID cozy here. Every one of you, I think, has to represent about 50 to 100 people, because that's kind of the norm. That's what we're used to with these. Chief Simpson and I, this is number 5 of 7 wing changing commands in 18th Air Force, and so we've kind of gotten used to it, but we know we've got our teammates and our friends that will join us virtually to watch this. But thank you for those of you that represent all of the airmen and all the community leaders that are here today. I want to start out first. I didn't really get a chance to meet Colonel Sumangill, but good to see you, and I appreciate you very much, and I believe Jen, good to meet you. I have to tell you, you and Chief Duggar, your teams with the 317th are extraordinary. I have been coming here for a couple of years, watching the teamwork that happens between the bomb wing, the host wing, and ours, and we couldn't do our mission without you, and I think there's a wonderful synergy that's going on between these two organizations. I love the way you're getting out and doing things together, taking the bombers and operationally and the C-130s. It's just magnificent. So thank you for everything you've done over the last year and that you'll continue to do for this great team Dyess. And speaking of this partnership theme that I'm going to be on, I'm going to go a couple rows behind you there to a very special guy, Colonel John Schutte. John, thank you for being here, and Steve Hart, because I have to tell you, on the partnership world, what these two wing commanders have done, we call it enterprise perspective, is just amazing. They have come together and pushed the C-130 Enterprise like I've never seen before. So it's great to have you here and to look at the two of you. You are the epitome of teamwork, so thank you for that. Further on the teamwork theme, Sean, good to see you. Yvonne, good to see you. I love these two. These are AMC civic leaders. They do so much for our command, for the United States Air Force, and to welcome people into this wonderful Abilene community. You're just simply amazing. I'm sorry it's been so long since we have seen each other, but thank you both for being here and representing your community and everything that you do. Gray, it was good. Where's Gray? There you are. It's good talking to you. Enjoyed our little discussion and appreciate everything that you do, and good to see you again. And Doug Peters, good to see you, sir. Thanks for what you do as president of the Chamber of Commerce there. David Pittman, David, good to see you, sir. Thank you, honorary command chief, and great to have you here as a supporter. Chief Umfley and his wife, Julie. I didn't get to meet you, Julie. We tried a couple times in there, but just didn't work out. But boy, what a gold mine you guys landed here with this wonderful team, and I just know that you guys are going to really enjoy this tour here, because I think it just showed up, if I got that right, here just a little bit of time ago. And then last but not least, to my wingman and my teammate, Chief Master Sergeant Chris Simpson. He's an amazing guy. He just about killed me on a 6.5-mile run yesterday. He's a warrior. He is an advocate of airmen, and I'm going to enjoy every bit of the last 3.5 weeks I have in being his command team partner, because command teams are critical, and they're really the key to success. I want to recognize your father, Dan. Dan, thank you for being here with the chief. As we talked about yesterday, you've got a lot to be proud of. He's a wonderful man. And, he does so much for 36,000 airmen, and I just want you to know he's a special guy. Okay, to all the commanders, the chiefs, the community and civic leaders that are tuning in that couldn't be here today, thank you for tuning in to this really special ceremony. I have really fond memories of Abilene. So I was a little boy sitting down in that chair when my dad took command of the 463rd Airlift Wing back in the 70s. And every time I come back here, I just get this nostalgia and this feeling of what a special place it is here. And the impressions and the memories that I have, that I know your children have now and your children soon will have, are extraordinary. In fact, a couple of years ago, Jeff even let me come in and sit at his desk, which was my dad's desk. A couple of years before that, like numerous decades before that, and that was priceless for me, and I will always remember that. Thank you for helping, and thanks for the community to help us make the contact with Dyess Elementary and all the things that are priceless. So Jeff, over the last couple of years, I've also seen very clearly how wonderful and strong your influence has been for our airmen and for our families, not to mention the hard work that you've put into building partnerships and teams, as I discussed before. Jessica, you've done a wonderful job, and I hope that you know how proud we are. Kelly sends her love in regards to you, and thank you for all of the hard work that you have put into your family and all the airmen here. So really proud of you. Jack, Sienna, and Julia have grown a little bit in those 2 years, just a little bit taller than they were, and it sounds like their experience here has been magnificent. So I'd also like to recognize your father, Don, joining us virtually, as well as your in-laws, John and Michelle Parsons. I know they so wanted to be here, but like so many, we're dealing with this COVID environment, and so I'm just glad that they will be able to tune in and watch this. But to y'all, thank you very much. And a warm welcome to the Young family, Greg's wife, Glenda. We just had a chance to meet sons Tyler and Carter, great-looking young men with a big future, I'm sure. Welcome to you. Glenda, thank you, as we talked about in there, for being a rock for your husband. It's not easy to be a military spouse. It is not easy at all. There's no medals, there's no promotions in that regard, but we appreciate what you do in supporting him while keeping your family rocking and rolling. It's really awesome. I know you're going to love this experience in Abilene. I know you're going to love the 317 family. I'm also pleased to welcome Greg's mother, Kay, his stepfather, Chris. Great to meet you guys here today. Love the Southern football passion. It's one of my passions. We had a fun time chatting about that. Also joining virtually in-laws, Chief Master Sergeant retired Hendricks, and Margot and his brother Mike joining virtually. So welcome to y'all. Now, Greg, I know that you wish, from talking to you, that your grandma Margaret could be here in person, and I know that she's proud of you, and frankly, she should be. She has a lot to be proud of. So she's here in spirit, and she will be critiquing you, I'm sure. You mentioned your mom and your grandparents, and you mentioned how they taught you values of hard work, persistence, and loyalty to family, which is so important. So I'm certain that their love and support are foundational in making you the airman and the leader that you are today. So to them I say, well done. Ladies and gentlemen, and for the community, I have seen firsthand the lengths Team Dyess goes to get the mission done, and it is impressive. Greg and Glenda, you'll love this 317th experience, but as we talked about, be warned, just as you saw at Ramstein, it goes by all too fast. So don't blink and cherish every single day. So I have to say, the people in this community, they really step up to support the mission and the military families, because they know, just as we do, that the Dyess team and the 317 specifically isn't just in the community, it's a part of the community. In fact, Air Mobility Command's annual award for the most supportive community of the year is named after this great town. How fitting that is, and this town truly sets the standard, something y'all should be proud of. To all airmen present and joining us virtually. That's active, Guard, Reserve, and civilian alike. Thanks for your service and sacrifice. You are the heart and soul of a force that defends the nation against threats, visible and invisible. Amazing. You are the ones that ensure America's continued prosperity. In the 18th Air Force, we provide lethality through speed and mobility. The flexibility that Airlift delivers allows us to touch any corner of the planet at a time and a place of our choosing. And this wing plays a critical role in that, something to be very proud of. You see, ladies and gentlemen, it's global reach. It makes the U.S. a superpower, not just a regional power. Jeff, you ensured the 317th delivered global reach every single day, and I want to commend you for a job extremely well done. Your personal leadership set the bar high, building a warrior culture and a war-ready wing. Jeff, your leadership and creativity brought forward, as the chaplain mentioned, the 412 construct along with your partners from Little Rock. Your vision of this C-130 community delivered far, far greater combat readiness extraordinary. You also improved squadron vitality and enabled the stability of your airmen and families with this construct. What you delivered is tremendous and will set airmen up for success for years to come. A wing is only as good as its most precious resource, and that's its people. You have set the benchmark for putting airmen and families first. And it wouldn't be a change of command in 2020 without talking about the response to the COVID crisis. You've come together as an amazing team here at Dyess Air Force Base to protect the health of your airmen and families. You adjusted schedules to allow members to homeschool, provide child care so spouses could continue to work, all while getting the mission done. Never skipped a beat. You maintained the health of your airmen and families while staying on a positive readiness glide slope, which is not easy to do and impressive. I am very proud of this wing, how they have responded to this crisis, and you should be too. Oh, but the list goes on. Since 2018, the 317th has executed continuous taskings in support of all 9 combatant commands, flew thousands of hours of tactical airlift and airdropped operations in contested environments, and pioneered tactics, techniques, and procedures to ensure this wing is ready for full spectrum readiness not only today, but in the future. It is safe to say that when the 317th is on the job gets done. Jeff, you led the way in a wing where outstanding performance is the norm, not the exception. It is powerful and spot on in building readiness and resilience that we need if we are to face great power competition in the future. You have a lot to be proud of. Thanks for your leadership, and I'm excited you will soon become the Deputy A3, a job that I held at Air Mobility Command. It's a tough job. It's a great job, and I can't wait to watch you continue to shape this magnificent command, Air Mobility Command, but more important, continue to shape the airmen that come up behind you. Greg, now it's your turn to take them to new heights. You're the right leader at the right place and the right time. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Young is exceptionally qualified for this command. Greg was born, if I got this right, almost exactly 45 years ago today. Happy belated 45th birthday. Greg, what a birthday present this is, to take command of a wing. He did grow up in a small town, Abbeville, South Carolina, where there wasn't, frankly, a big military influence. However, he spent a year in Savannah, Georgia, running around an airport, getting used to airplanes, getting airplane rides, and from what I understand, it turned out to be a very formative year in his life. As I understand it, it was there that he set his sights, his goal on our alma mater, the United States Air Force Academy, and to become an officer and a pilot. He commissioned in May of '98. Yes, making me feel a little bit old today, but he's a career expert C-130 pilot and brings the right experience and the right culture, very important culture, to this wing. Greg's a great air mobility airman with operational and staff experience from the squadron, group, major command, and combat command levels, including a stint as the 18th Air Force Commander's executive officer. He comes to us from beautiful Ramstein Air Base in Germany, where he commanded the 86th Operations Group, executing tactical airlift, aeromedical evacuations, and DV missions for 3 combat commands in austere combat conditions to perfection. That is a tough job that he just completed in great form. Greg, balance will serve you well in your role as a wing commander, leading these airmen, especially in these complex times. The guidon I will virtually pass you is light. Light as air, actually. Okay, Chief, that's 5. Fell flat 5 times. Light as air, actually, but it carries a heavy burden of command. One that you understand as a commander. To carry that burden, it is so important for you to have a strong support network. That support network, of course, as you know, starts with your family, but it extends far beyond the family to the airmen that you lead, the Dyess community itself, and the greater Air Force and Department of Defense. It extends to your 11 fellow wing commanders in this numbered Air Force and to our command teams at 18th and Air Mobility Command. We're all on the same team. With that support network and your proven skill and ability, I have every confidence that your airmen will continue to thrive. Greg, the airmen that you lead, they're talented, they're innovative, and they are brave. Focus on readiness, squadron vitality, and a work-life balance so that they can get after the mission. The message is really quite clear. When working with these great airmen, tell them to do their job with pride and passion. Live by the core values of integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all they do, and to do so in such a manner that any adversary, big or small, knows that in the 317th, we fly, we fight, and we always win. So let's keep it that way. Aim high.
Thank you, Major General Merritt. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of the Legion of Merit. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. This is to certify that the President of the United States of America, authorized by Act of Congress, July 20th, 1942, has awarded the Legion of Merit, 1st Oakley Cluster, to Colonel Jeffrey T. Manasco. Colonel Jeffrey T. Manasco distinguished himself by exceptionally meritorious service to the United States as Commander, 317th Airlift Wing, Dyess Air Force Base, Texas, from 3 August 2018 to 24 July 2020. During this period, the steadfast leadership of Colonel Manasco provided critical stability that was instrumental in vectoring the Airlift Wing to success. While in command of 1,169 personnel across 5 squadrons operating 28 aircraft to execute 16,000 flight hours annually, he established a squadron-focused culture where airmen are empowered to innovate and push the leading edge of tactical airlift. Colonel Manasco's exemplary leadership rebuilt trust and resulted in significant contributions to the effectiveness and success of the Air Force's largest C-130 combat airlift force. He oversaw the development of a $4 million operations support contract, acquiring 13 additional civilian manpower authorizations, cutting contracting timelines by 83%, and returning 17,000 man-hours per year to aircrew readiness. This enabled active duty personnel with perishable skill sets to return to the flight line to generate and employ tactical airlift, aligning talent to need. Acutely aware of squadron vitality deficits, aircrew retention challenges, and readiness deficiencies caused by over a decade of increased operations tempo with a reduced crew force, Colonel Manasco guided the creation of the first human performance cell in an air mobility wing. This new organization incorporated physical therapy, dietitian counseling, fitness expertise, a military family life consultant, and a school liaison into one central location, changing the paradigm of service from reactive to proactive and bridging the gap between the warfighter and the provider. Finally, after almost 2 decades of continual downrange employment, the 317th Airlift Wing took the lead to design an innovative full squadron deployment cycle. This construct enabled each Air Mobility Command C-130J squadron to gain a 12-month period of home station dwell to focus on improving unit cohesion, quality of life, and most importantly, full spectrum readiness against emerging near-peer competitors. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Colonel Manasco reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commander, 317th Airlift Wing, Colonel Jeff Manasco.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a special day. And I'd like for everyone out there, whether virtually or here in place, thank you for taking the time on this momentous occasion for the 317th Airlift Wing. General Barrett, thank you for coming out here. You came in last night via commercial air, braving the COVID environment. And I remember very distinctly you had taken command, I think, just about 2 days before I did. This was your first official function. And I do remember going into the office. It's the same desk your father sat at, taking a picture. And then, as you were giving me the command, thinking, oh boy, I better not mess this up. Your dad was the wing commander here. So, sir, thank you for your leadership, your mentorship. I could not have asked for a more supportive boss. Everything that you heard in the medal, those were the efforts of not only our airmen, but pushing a large machine, whether they're combatant commands or air mobility command. None of it would have been possible without your advocacy. So thank you for enabling everything read in the medal. It was through your support as well, sir. So thank you. For everyone that helped take part setting up this event, thank you, Chaplain Rollison. I don't see you right now, but there you are. What a wonderful invocation. They're always wonderful. Thank you for the human performance cell. You were central to getting that established. So thank you for everything. You leave next week. We're going to miss your family as well. You've been a powerful force here on the installation everywhere. Ms. Drysdale, Sherry, thank you for setting this up. You're an amazing protocol officer, and this is only a small piece of what you do every day for our airmen. You're still serving. Though you're retired, I would argue you're still active duty, serving and leading airmen every day, so thank you. Sergeant Alessana, Eddie, you have a second career in broadcasting. If there are any future events, I will fly you out and have you narrate them. Every time you do this, you knock it out of the park. And thank you for as we facilitated the command chief changeover and getting Chief Umfleet and Julie and family settled. You're an amazing leader. Thank you for what you do in the front office every day. To the executive officers that have served in the front office over the past 2 years, you've all been amazing. Most of you are in virtual land, so thank you for everything you've done. Chief Simpson, it has been an honor working with you. It is fantastic to see your father here with you as well. You serve our airmen in so many ways, and to include our own command chief, who went to Afghanistan for a year, which was his dream job, and you helped enable that. It's kind of ironic that he went to Afghanistan, that's what he wanted. You were critical in enabling that, particularly as we're trying to get him out the door in the COVID environment. So thank you for that support. To our civic leaders, Yvonne, Sean, Dave Pittman, Doug Peters, Ray Bridwell. There are so many more out in virtual land as well. Greg Blair, Alex Russell, Doug Williamson, Darren Black, John and Judy Farmer, Gary Grubbs, Include Mayor Williams, and anyone else that I may have missed. Thank you for being such active leaders in Abilene. There's so much you do for our airmen. It's easy to say thank you for your service. Let me just read a few of the things that you've done in the 2 years that I have been here. You've established scholarships. You've You've lobbied the state of Texas to expand reciprocity and licensing, which they did for our airmen and spouses. You passed the school bond to build a new Dyess Elementary School. You built a memorial to honor our fallen airmen that literally looks to the heavens. You've lobbied for funding to renovate our 12 airmen dormitories. There's no doubt in our airmen's minds that they are part of this community, and everything just listed, those are things that we could not have done. They happen because the community here cares so deeply. It's not just thank yous, but it's actions. So thank you to those that I'm looking at right here, as well as those out in the community watching virtually. Jack, Jessica, Sienna, Julie, and I, we will miss living here immensely. This is truly a special place on earth, and you will live in our hearts forever. Colonel Shetty, John, it is great to see you here. We've known each other for 20 years now. The teaming, General Barrett mentioned it, it has been fantastic. And Gyro before you, but the teaming with the 19th and the 317th to push the edge of creating the 412 construct. Everything we've done, whether it's exercising our wings together at home or abroad, or in conjunction with the 7th bomb wing, creating base, it has been fantastic. It has been a career highlight teaming with you. I look forward to working with you in the future and seeing you over the years. The 7th bomb wing, Colonel Sumangill, Jen, Shin, Chief Duggar, fellow group commanders, and so many spouses that couldn't be here because we tried to keep the audience small. Thank you to everyone and your support every day. Sumo, it's been fantastic over the past year with you and your family here, but I can honestly say over the past 4 months, I think we've seen who everyone is, what they really are internally with what we've been dealt with coronavirus. As the installation commander, you could have done so many things unilaterally on your own, but it is so clear the leadership style that you provide has been an example to all of us. While the decisions legally, authoritatively were always yours clearly, there was no question in our minds how you built the team. There was a collective decision, clearly yours, but thank you for reaching out, and you made some amazing decisions, some really very difficult decisions. I'm not sure airmen always understood, but it was always in everyone's best interest, so thank you. We are going to miss you as our neighbors right next door. I know that we will keep in touch. To the 317th Airlift Wing leaders, to their former Vice Commander, Colonel Boldenov, who I'm about to go work with again, Colonel Hackbarth, who's in Washington, D.C. right now, language school, fellow prior group commanders, Colonel Maxwell Vannabush, and Colonel Wilson that are here. All of you have been courageous leaders, everything listed in the medal. There were a lot of ideas on whiteboard sessions, but the actual airmen to do it were your airmen that actually turned those into the physical deeds that changed the way we employ the C-130. So thank you for your phenomenal leadership every single day. Chief Palmer, who's in Afghanistan right now, watching virtually, and Chief Humphrey, who literally has been on the job for a week. You have all been amazing. Chief Humphrey, you've already flown in the world's largest C-130 formation in the first week, so well done. Chief Palmer, so many of the things, particularly the human performance cell, were a passion project of his as well. We couldn't have done it without you, so Chief Palmer, thank you. And last, like the foundation of a castle, my family. I must say, I could not have done this without any of your help and support. Jessica, you're amazing. We just celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary last month with a takeout order, cheese plate, and a bottle of wine watching the West Texas sunset in the backyard. So we couldn't go to a restaurant or do anything. But I can say, honestly, I would not change a second of it. It was wonderful. I love you guys. And on top of everything you've done for our airmen, you also maintain a career as a Lieutenant Colonel in the Air Force Reserves. You're truly amazing. Jack, Sienna, Julia, you are amazing, just like your mother, and I'm blown away by your enthusiasm to move once again. You guys are more excited not to leave Abilene, but for the adventure in front of us. It is truly awe-inspiring, and all of you are going to your 9th school, to include Julia when we include your pre-K programs. But so 9th schools going into 9th grade is, and excited about it. To talk about resilience, you're an example. We love you guys. My father, who's watching from California, my in-laws, John and Michelle, and all extended family unable to attend, and my mother, who's watching from heaven, not here, but up there. Thank you for all the support that you provided, Jessica, the kids, and I over the years, and all of our moves, and we couldn't have done this without you. 2 years ago, when I started this journey, General Goldfein focused on revitalization of the squadron, and in the 317th, we made it part of our vision statement. We called it the world's best squadrons. This translated into the 412 deployment cycle, and the notion that the squadron truly is the basic warfighting unit of our Air Force, not a unit type code, the UTC. In order to achieve this, we needed empowered airmen, so we pushed authorities to lower levels and provided direct delivery of services to the airmen's and families' human performance cell. And in the tradition of hazard airmen and the jungle skippers, we maintained the leading edge of tactical airlift with development of GPS out operations, a new form of combat offload, and advancing our warfighting edge by pushing agile combat employment concepts in Europe and in the Pacific, along with our 19th Airlift Wing partners in Global Strike. All of which are not approved tactics, techniques, and procedures, but with deliberate and thoughtful risk management, we push warfighting concepts to prepare for great power conflict, as we've been asked to by our Secretary of Defense and Chief of Staff of the Air Force. And all of these accomplishments were done over the past year when the 317th surged into the 412 and flew 80% of all combat missions in the C-130. And if you look at the number of awards and achievements earned in combat at the Air Force level, it is truly staggering. Then you add, over the past 4 months, we've operated in a contested biological environment of COVID. Despite these constraints, we pushed the ISO dock 14 days ahead of schedule, and we conducted the first C-130 JD checks. And a teaming with the 7th Bomb Wing, the 19th Airlift Wing, and the 1st Cabin Fort Hood flew the largest C-130J formation in history, and here locally generated 25 of the 26 aircraft we had on the ramp. These are truly an example of the world's best squadrons, empowered airmen, and living at the edge of tactical airlift. Airmen of the 317th, you should be proud of all of you accomplished over the past 2 years, and it has been my honor to serve alongside each of you. And looking to the future, Colonel Young, Greg, Glenda, Tyler, Carter, your family, both here and watching virtually, welcome back to Abilene, welcome back to the 317th as you're a veteran here. You're about to inherit the world's most amazing people, tactical airlift professionals, and living in an absolutely incredible community, as you so well know. There is no doubt in my mind you are the right team to take this lead, and I'm sure the bar will be lifted even higher. Greg's reputation precedes himself. As General Barrett mentioned, he is a career C-130 pilot, and for those of us that have been flying Hertz for 21 years, Greg is an absolute operator and leader. I couldn't be happier that you're about to take the helm here. Greg and Linda, welcome to the 317th. Welcome to Team Dyess and Abilene. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for being here today to take part in this momentous occasion for the Hazard Airmen team. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Manasco. Sir, it has been our great honor to serve under your command. On behalf of the men and women of the 317th Airlift Wing, Colonel Clint Wilson and Colonel Don Vandenbush will now render Colonel Manasco his final salute as their commander.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the change of command ceremony in which the reins of responsibility and leadership of the 317th Airlift Wing will pass from Colonel Manasco to Colonel Young.
Publish the order.
Department of the Air Force, 18th Air Force, AMC. Special Order Number Gulf-Sierra Foxtrot 20-039er. Colonel James G. Young is appointed Commander of the 317th Airlift Wing, Vice Colonel Jeffrey T. Manasco, effective 24 July 2020. Signed, Major General Sam C. Barrett. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commander, 317th Airlift Wing, Colonel Greg Young.
It is very warm. I'm coming from Germany and I'm not used to this. I know I'm standing between you all in air conditioning, and more importantly, our crew chief in air conditioning. I'm watching his spot of shade vanish over there. So if you can bear with me for about 5 minutes. First, let me say it's great to be back home. There's nothing like coming back to the States after a long absence, and there's nowhere quite like West Texas to drive home the fact that you are definitely in America. Before we arrived, my youngest son Carter asked if everybody in Texas drives a truck, and I was like, no. But then we arrived at night and drove to the base the next morning, and I thought, yeah, it does. Even our full-size sedan that we rented from the airport is, in fact, a pickup truck. And I'm certain the folks who put together are welcome. We're driving a truck based on the sheer amount of food and gift baskets and cards and flowers and greeting cards. This has been an incredibly warm welcome. We feel very blessed to be here, so thank you all for that. General Barrett, sir, thank you so much for braving the COVID threat to make today's event possible. I know this is just part of the job for you, but you make it look so easy, and your meaningful comments meant a lot, so thank you. Chief Simpson, it's a pleasure to see you again. Your leadership is always appreciated, so thanks for joining us today. Colonel Sumagil, many thanks to you and Jen and the rest of the 7th Bomb Wing team for an awesome welcome. We're looking forward to working with you and getting to know you once we get released from ROM, of course. Colonel John Shetty and Chief Carter here from Little Rock. John and I also go back years, not as far as the Manascos, although I know he's really here to see Jeff Manasco off. I'm going to pretend like you're here for me, John. I noticed you're sitting in the young section, but ironically my family's sitting in the Manasco section, so just goes to show priorities. It's also really good to see some family friends and friendly faces from assignments past. Mr. Jim Barlow, we've got Palisters, that piece of work, Mark Yarian, and then our good friends since the Academy, Josh and Melissa Anderson are here. Josh was also on our wedding, of all things. Our good friend Ryan Barney is here. We followed Ryan around the Air Force from our time as next door neighbors in Little Rock to Elmendorf to Germany. I'm really glad you can make it. Our good friend Phil Craig is here. He's joining us all the way from the other side of the Mall of Abilene. It's 5 miles, folks, in Abilene traffic. It's not nothing. And then, of course, my family and my parents made the trek across from South Carolina with a car in tow, no less, for their grandbaby. So, also a warm welcome to our community leaders. Looking forward to meeting you all commanders, both statutory and honorary, chiefs, superintendents, first sergeants, etc., etc. You get the point. Thank you for attending today and making this event special for the Young family and for the Manascos. Years ago, when I was here, and this was the 317th Airlift group, I attended a change of command in the predecessor to this hangar, or maybe it was in Hangar 8. This version is super nice, by the way. It's a shame we couldn't have a reception after, because I think you could literally eat off the floor in here now. But we were losing Colonel Kevin Moondog Jackson, TAC Airlift legend, and he was initial cadre at the C-130 Weapons School, and we were gaining one Colonel Bernie Mader, great American, I'll say of him. So I'm sure Colonel Mader was eloquent and well-spoken, and following his tour here to share his bona fides, he went on to a leadership position at Public Affairs for the Secretary of the Air Force, so he could write a word or two. But I cannot remember a thing of substance from his change of command speech. In his defense, no one remembers the incoming guy's change of command speech. I've attended dozens of these things over the last 22 years, and I can't remember any of them, not a single word. I just relinquished command last week, and I can't even remember what I said at my own ceremony. So the general guidance because of that, I think, is to keep it short, generally 2 to 3 minutes of substance. Now, Colonel Mader knew this and made a big show of starting his stopwatch at the beginning of his remarks, and then ending with a triumphant hack of the watch when he finished. And then he leaned forward and he looked at us all and he said, "Now get back to work." So, since you're not going to remember my speech any more than I remembered his, let me keep this to 3 quick points. Point 1, air power is a team sport. A mission wing like the 317th cannot execute without the tremendous support it receives from the 7th Bomb Wing, and I look forward to nurturing our relationship and building on what the team has developed over the last 2 years. The same can be said for our relationship with our partners in the local community. No one is more supportive than Abilene. As General Barrett mentioned, there's a reason why Air Mobility Command's Community Support Award is called the Abilene Trophy. After you win it so many times, just give up and name it after you and move on. You welcome us into our churches, your schools, your businesses, your neighborhoods, and your homes, all knowing that most of us will only be here for 3 to 4 years, and you do it time and time again. Frankly, I've never seen anything else like it anywhere else in my career, so when I say it's good to be home, I mean it. Looking forward to working with you all. I'd also be remiss if I didn't emphasize that this teamwork definitely extends to our brothers and sisters at Little Rock Air Force Base. Since I was here last in 2009, we've closed 6 active duty herc squadrons. We're getting to be like the Marine Corps of the MAF, the few, the proud. We are stronger together though, John, and I'm excited by the prospect of good we can do for the airlift community. Point 2, it's all about the people. Warfare is a human endeavor. TAC Airlift is no exception. C-130J is an incredible platform, but it's useless without the men and women who generate and execute combat power. So whenever I hear a citation read like the one we heard today, it's never lost on me that the real work occurred in the back shops and on the flight line, over the drop zone and on shore final, after hours of boredom, followed by minutes of sheer terror, or the many instances that may never be formally recognized, and these are the ones that matter the most, the countless examples of airmen leading and taking care of other airmen every day. I'm proud of this team and what it has accomplished under Colonel Manasco's leadership, and I'm even prouder to be able to serve alongside you and advocate on your behalf. Finally, point 3, in light with what has already been said and the progress that's been made, I think it's time to challenge our value programming in the HERC community and reevaluate our role in the mobility enterprise. It's time to move beyond redheaded stepchild and embrace our red-handed warrior ethos. When I was growing up in the HERC, there was a saying about the C-130 chronospaces, the reason that Little Rock was the head or the brains of the C-130 community, and if that was true, then Dyess was the heart or the soul. I don't remember what Pope was, but we cut it out and gave it back to the Army, so it must have been the appendix. Nobody knows what that does. I never really liked the head versus heart analogy, and I think we can all agree that as humans, we kind of need both. So I'll say, though, that if Little Rock is the capital of HERC Nation, then Dyess is its spiritual home. The Graceland of TAC Airlift, if you will. And as an Elvis man, that's an analogy I can get behind. So let's be a little bolder in our vision and forge one cohesive team leading the evolution of combat airlift, agile, innovative, inclusive, and integrated. Integrated across the MAF, integrated across the Air Force writ large, and integrated across the Joint Force. We are the warriors that bridge the last tactical mile. We are always amongst the first in. We are typically the last out. We are the modern warhorse that gets it done again and again and again. This is the path before us, and we will pursue it with excellence. Now get back to work.
Thank you, Colonel Young. On behalf of the men and women of the 317th Airlift Wing, Colonel Clint Wilson and Colonel Don Vandenbush will now welcome Colonel Young with his first salute as their commander. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to your left at the C-130 just outside the hangar doors. This aircraft has been renamed the 317th Airlift Wing Flagship, Colonel Greg Young. Ladies and gentlemen, the men and women of the 317th Airlift Wing are proud to have served with Colonel Manasco and his family and wish him every success in his new assignment. We also welcome Colonel Young and his family as he assumes his new duties as the commander of the 317th Airlift Wing. You are invited to say farewell to the Manascos and congratulate Colonel Young and his family immediately following the ceremony, and reminded to please continue to practice physical distancing. The men and women of the 317th Airlift Wing extend our appreciation to Major General Barrett for presiding over today's ceremony, and thank you all for attending. This concludes the ceremony. Please rise and remain standing for the Air Force song and the departure of the official party. This concludes today's ceremony. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for attending.